Welcome to Two Robs and a Mic, a podcast about everything trail running in the Blue Mountains, brought to you by Summit Gear, your trail running store based in Katoomba. Well, guys, how are you? How was your week?
Yeah. I'll let you go, Mike.
Well, Rob wasn't
You had
convincing
more.
there. It was a big week. Yeah, it was really good. Got down to the Grampians to do a bit of running and filming ahead of the GPT 100 later in the year. So
when is the GPT 100?
you put me on the spot.
Yeah.
No,
It's
I
the
believe
last week in November,
Is
isn't
it?
it?
no, almost. It's November 21 to 24th, I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
21st to the 24th because that would be a Friday, Saturday. Or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I think. Maybe it's the first day is 50k and then jumps into the miler, and then basically you got the stage race and then the stage relay for the miler that all go kind of over the whole weekend. So yeah, it's kind of creeping up. It's only about 6 weeks away. So my housemate Jeremy's on his phone on his Training Peaks. There's a big banner at the top that says in capitals 6 weeks away GPT 100. So he goes, God, how do I get this off? Because it's daunting him. So but yeah, it was awesome. I was reminded how technical it is there, and also was like, wow, to everyone doing that race. I couldn't even comprehend that I was excited, or like my mindset last year. It was just like so, I guess, confident and like, no, the technical will be fine. Like, just be switched on and just get into it. And then I was taking photos and um, running around pretty cruisy, and I was just like, wow, like this is probably went into that week a bit more tired, but I think when you're a little bit tired or something or sluggish, it's pretty unforgiving terrain.
Do you think it's going to be an advantage that you've done it before?
Oh, I'm actually not racing it this year.
Oh, you're not racing?
Nah,
Oh, okay.
nah. So
So it's the housemate.
yeah. So Jez is thinking about heading down to check out the course sometime soon, but it's
Well, you did that last year, didn't you?
I did, and I think
Did a recce?
it's so important because there's really distinct different sections of the course. I think sections where you can push and put more effort in with quite low risk to like beating up your body, and then other sections where the difference of trying to push hard or just basically get through it efficiently is like, for how much harder you work, you don't really go much quicker because it's so technical. Like some of it's almost like you're almost down scrambling on rock and things and not really runnable at all. But then there's long climbs that are flat bedrock and stuff that you can actually, if you're feeling good, you could make up half an hour on a climb. So
But it's not fire trail, is it?
no,
It's all single track.
It's all single track, and basically the crazy part about the race is it's all on rock. So I think when run here and train here a lot, even if it's on stairs or anything, you get quite soft dirt because we get quite a lot of rain and things like that. And then you go there and it's the equivalent of running on something harder than the road pretty much. And so when you're getting irregular steps and things like that, it's just, I think, unusual body movements. So sometimes there's nothing to do but like drop down 50 or 60 centimeter drops like off the rocks. And it's like, I think it's just accumulated impact of that really come into the back end of the race. You're like, whoa, but it's like pretty tricky to prepare for.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, there's a section of I used to run when I lived down in Sydney of the Great North Walk, and it's very technical. Like, it's rocks and big lumpy rocks and bits of track in between it all, and up and down all the time. And it was always surprising how exhausting that was running on that sort of terrain, and how just like it's just does your mind. Like you just got to be thinking the whole time.
Yeah,
you come out of there with a headache. So I imagine doing that for 100 miles is going to be pretty tough.
yeah.
So if you're not an absolute lightweight whippet, then having some good cushioning, along with great grip, is going to be important.
For sure. Yeah, I think some good cushioned shoes would go a long way. I definitely wore a cushioned shoe last year, and I went for something with about 5 mil lugs, and it ended up raining. And some parts of the rock when it's wet is incredibly grippy, great, and then even parts where it doesn't have moss or anything, the next rock you stand on can be completely slippery and you're on the floor. So it's like almost unpredictable. And I think you end up getting to a point when you just have to kind of believe in the rock. And then every now and then it will let you down a little bit. But for the most part, it's actually a really grippy course. So, yeah,
Cool.
there's certain areas you can kind of see it and you just, But, yeah, it's definitely to be respected. They've all got, each part's got, I mean, the first 50 is on a camber. We don't have any running on like a weird camber here. So your ankles are already in the first 50 Ks. Like, they've been doing something they're not used to for a long time. So, yeah, get the ankles strong.
Yeah,
Well, you're right. Even there's a small section of Buffalo Stampede down at Bright.
Yeah.
It's on the camber.
Yeah.
So just like a sort of bit of a sheer rock, but
that's very Gramps specific. I actually ran that on the weekend, and I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, this is a little segment
up near the top.
The top 5Ks of the big walk.
Yeah,
that's very Gramps-esque. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's handy to know. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot how technical that was.
And so, where is that in the GPT course?
In terms, that's actually in Bright, the top of Buffalo. So
no, for the Gramps.
Oh, in terms of where is that kind of stuff?
Which leg? Yeah.
I think particularly in the first 50K, so you go from Mountain Zero picnic area and you head into Halls Gap, and it's the most runnable section of the trail, but it also puts your ankles in some of the strangest positions on the trail too.
Right. Okay.
So you're kind of tiptoeing and dancing around.
I have to speak to Lewis about trying to find Lewis Quadrito about some ankle exercises in preparation for the Gramps.
Find some old tarred roads that have got a really pronounced mound in the middle, and then they drop away. I'm sure there's probably some roads in Upper Blue Mountains that you could go and train on off camera,
Yeah, it's crazy because it's I guess every time I go there, I'm reminded how hard it is to prepare for here. Like the only places I keep telling Jez, I'm like maybe Porter's Pass, Collier's Causeway, and I mean Lockley's is rocky, but completely different. It's not the same. You still got flat footing, so it's kind of you got to get inventive and even just run off the side of the trail. I would say that you're better training here if you're like if it was on the way out to Pinnacles or something, and you were just dancing on the rocky stuff on the outside.
Yeah. Maybe it's a very early segue, but our Sunday long run on the 20th is going to be out at Tony Williams' place out on the Darling Causeway for the Blue Goat course. He's got the 5K and the 10K, and that's incredibly technical.
Yeah.
And there are rock faces and shelves that you run either across or down or up.
Yeah, you showed me the photo.
Yeah, so that might be good training for Gramps to get out there.
I've been out there last year to take some photos at Blue Goat, and it would be pretty it would be handy. Like it's definitely got some sections which remind me of Gramps.
Okay,
like
awesome.
Going up there.
Spend some time there before we head down to Gramps.
We've got that one locked in.
Yeah.
And how's your recovery going, Rob?
It's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, I didn't realise how tough it would be. And it's just been really hard. And for someone who identifies as, besides all my other titles like husband, dad, now granddad, but but I identify as a ultra runner and a trail runner, and having 3 months off with no cardio at all, but unfortunately for me, I kept eating like I'm an ultra runner, like nothing's off limits. And I'm paying for that now. And just getting out to do a run every couple of days because I don't want to overdo it and come back early before the bones really healed. And like when I leave my place, I've got a long gradual hill that's about 600 metres. And then over the other side, then I've got a steeper hill that averages around 11%, and it's a full kilometre. And normally that's hard to run the whole way. And some mornings in the last week or so, just the gradual hill, I've sort of had a battle to, can I walk or do I just keep running? I will push on,
slog it out,
and just slog it out. And it's way harder than I expected it to be. I just thought, it'll just come back. And I'm sure when I get the Ks up, and I get that consistency of running every day or close to every day, it'll come back quite well. And I do put a lot of faith in muscle memory. But, at the moment, to be honest, I'm probably 20% over what I used to consider as an ideal race weight, and and just lugging those extra kilos up hills and just along the road is just much harder than I thought it would be. So if you're like that and you're struggling, especially if you've come back from injury or just getting into running, I do see you because I am you. So
it's a real thing. Like I think also, I can speak from experience. Like as you get older, I found that it seems to me that my fitness falls away so much faster if I'd stop or I have a break or I get injured or whatever, and or back off, and you kind of notice like you go back, and there was not that long ago I was doing this. I've been training for UTMB, and I'd sort of got quite tired and mentally fatigued at the end of it, and I sort of had a couple of months off, but I still kept running, but not really training, like just running when I, periodically, but not that religious following a program. And then some of the guys took me out on a practice run for UTA, and we did 4 hours, and I was cramping like no tomorrow. And it was like I'd never run. It was just embarrassing. So it's definitely tough. Like I think, it takes a little while to get back into it.
I mean, I've had injuries before, but you're right. Like you could always, like whether you swim or you can ride the bike, even if it's just a spin bike, and do other things. But I can't remember when I've actually had 3 months of just nothing. No cardio at all.
It'll come back. It'll come back.
Anyway, well, it has to. I'm pacing Gavin and Grampians.
Oh,
so you just told me it's 6 weeks away, and so I've got to get up to speed to at least do the last 2 legs of that.
So that's what, 60 k's,
62 k's, I think. Yeah,
some good vert. In the last.
Luckily, he'll have 100 k's in his legs, so I won't be holding him back. But I still, I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then we've got Blue Goat the next week.
Yeah.
So I'm putting a lot of faith in muscle memory.
Yeah. It'll come back strong.
Yeah,
it'll come back strong.
Yeah. Certainly, I've had a long taper, taper.
On the injury piece, I feel like I can totally relate to, and it's almost my biggest demon with it was that I had an injury after the race in Madeira that I had to have some time off, and then when I got back into running, I just couldn't let go of the certain measure of where I usually am at fitness wise or anything like that. So I'd go out for a run, and then rather than just being grateful to run again, I was kind of like, oh, I'm like 25% off where I should be. Where it was like, I mean, that is part of the lucky part about being in the Blueies now. It's like when I get in my head about running and my fitness or anything like that, I'm like, pick somewhere really beautiful and less runnable and technical where you don't know what the paces are and stuff, and just focus on what's around you. And then I think it's the first 3 or 4 weeks are the hardest. It feels like you're going nowhere, and then magically one day it's just I feel pretty efficient again. It doesn't come back.
That's what I'm waiting for. I'm hoping I'll just have that.
Yeah,
just feel fluid and running well, and you're right. So as I said, that steep 1K, when I'm in shape, I would run that multiple times until I can't do it under a certain time. And then I go, okay, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm nowhere near that for the first repeat.
It sounds like a challenge.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good challenge.
It is a good challenge.
We could work that one into how many laps we can do before the time.
Semi-vertical K. That's all on road.
Yeah.
So
okay. Cool. Interesting.
If you're up to it, you can run it fast. I'm sure you will.
Well, I guess we're speaking about injuries. I had I was out. I was doing a long run about 2 weeks ago. In preparation for the Bondi to Manly Ultra, so I'm doing 80 Ks, and I thought I'll go get a 50, 55K run done. It's a good time and space between that. And fairly early in the run, I did something. I kind of felt like I jarred my knee a bit, and I kind of thought I'll ignore it and I'll just keep running. And then by the time I realised that actually it wasn't probably going to go away, I was probably out past Dumfries in the doing the first half of the UTA 100 course. So then I had about 25 Ks or something to get back. So I kept running and came all the way back, but I was kind of hobbling at the end of it, and probably shouldn't have kept going, to be honest. But I was out there by myself, so sort of
you couldn't
just
call it
no, just just had to get home. And pretty much then, I took the next week off running altogether, because my knee would just keep kind of catching on. It feels like catching or jar. I don't know, just in certain steps. And then I thought I could run flat, so I tried it out on a treadmill on Monday or Tuesday, and I could run a flat treadmill. It was fine. So then the next day I went out and I thought I'll try doing the Clifftop Trail and see how I go. And I can do most of it, but I can't go upstairs. I have to walk upstairs.
That's just the up.
Yeah, so it's the up, and I thought it was going to be the down that got me. And I managed to do another run today and stuff, and I just feel like, but I'm definitely favouring one leg over the other. Mm-hmm. And so every time I run uphill, my right leg's getting really tired, and it feels so inefficient and so bad. I was kind of stressing out because I really want to do the Bondi to Manly Ultra.
How far away is that?
Well, it's like 3 weeks now.
Okay.
And so I can't really, like, I guess I'm kind of sitting here going, look, the big endurance training's kind of done, but I do feel like things drop away very quickly. So I wanted to try and keep running a bit, but I don't want to also stress my knee too hard. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm just...
Have you tried riding?
No.
because if it doesn't aggravate your knee riding, you could do quite a lot of volume on the bike and then still go out and do like a flat run or so like a shorter flat run and see if it helps the knee.
Yeah. But I guess I'm grateful. I can run most things except when I get to stairs, I'll just walk them.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there's not lots of stairs in the Bondi to Manly, is there?
Well,
somewhere around.
I think around the back half there is, around North Head and South Head.
Yeah, I was going to say through Mossman.
It's kind of a bit pitchy, and there's some stairs around there. So, but anyway, fingers crossed, I'll be able to I'll be able to get to the start line, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Hopefully speedy recovery.
We'll see. So, great week for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
You're okay.
I didn't actually mention, I had a belter of a stack, actually, when I was in advance. It was the last afternoon we were filming, and most of the week I'd been running around with, like, a GoPro in one hand and, like, quite a heavy couple kilo, like, film DSLR in one hand and running behind everyone on the technical trail, and obviously needing to move kind of well to get to good spots at the right time of day. We'd finished shooting for the day and we're running down Mount Abrupt, and we got onto the less technical single track, and there's no rocks or anything. It was like the dirt path down to the road, and then we'd get the road back to our car. And we'd been talking about for the last 10 minutes how this is the time of day when you have a stack. And before I knew it, I'd kicked the tree root, and I just was going down forwards, and I landed on my arm, my camera, my good camera, just like flying through the air. But I landed on my leg, and it basically where like your tibialis anterior is. No scratch, no dirt, but I got this massive hematoma straight away.
Yeah, right.
And so it blew up to the size of probably like half dome of a tennis ball within 5 or 10 seconds. And I'm just standing there looking at this growth like this off my leg. I couldn't believe it. It was my first time ever. So I still have a bit of a thing
still
there.
Got a lump?
Yeah, still got a lump there, but it's when it first popped up, I was very confused. I'd never seen one before, and I was like, do we need to drain this thing? Do I need to get heli lifted? And then they were like, no, it's just like a hematoma. And I was like, that means nothing to me. Like, so I've been in the wars too. So,
well,
yeah.
Must be time. It's quite depressing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of trail running.
It is.
Oh,
you got to pay your taxes,
and you do realise it does make you appreciate when things are feeling good.
Yeah.
Like, how lucky it is, what a privilege it is to be able to run through some of these tracks that we do. So,
definitely.
For sure.
That's why finding that perfect flow is such a rare thing. But you love it when you got it,
because you're on the floor 10 minutes later. Well, I am anyway.
Yeah. And isn't that true though?
It
must be because we switch off.
Yeah.
That is always the most, flattest, least technical
Yes.
sections that people trip on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Definitely.
I can go to sleep now. I can tune out. I can talk and not pay attention.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't believe I tripped over that one rock back there. And I've just been through 2 hours of really gnarly.
And it's always the last 2 or 3 kilometers of a run.
Yeah.
Like you're right. You get complacent, I think.
Yeah, more than fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
just
think
complacency.
So. Yeah, you're home and hosed.
Well, while you were gallivanting around down the Grampians, Rob and I were running a store at the Lonely Mountain Ultra.
Yeah.
Which was
got out there again, which was fantastic.
Went and visited our friends in Orange.
Yep.
And there was great representation from the Blue Mountains community there. There's a lot of people turned up. It was a really good event.
It's a great event. I mean, I loved it last year and said, I came back and said, we really got to get behind this one.
Yeah.
I mean, you already were already, supporting it, but for us to have the pop-up store there for a couple of days and take a lot more gear to show people, it was great. And La Sportiva came again, and represented and brought out the Prodigio fleet,
and their athletes turned up too.
It did,
athletes, yeah. We'll talk a bit more about that later on.
Yeah.
And,
but I mean, you want to talk about the Prodigio test fleet?
Well, let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Olivia had come up, the rep from La Sportiva, and had a full fleet of men's and women's shoes. They sort of remind me of when you go 10-bin bowling, or used to. I haven't been 10-bin bowling for quite a number of years.
But,
have all the numbers on the back of the shoes, so you could see. But she had a lot of people, over 20 people, try down the shoes and went for a bit of a run. Besides other people coming in and looking at them, Joey Williams went and put on a pair of shoes in his size and took off. 10 minutes later, he was winning the 4K event in shoes that he only just put on. So and he came back and said he loved them, which is great. Yeah, you had more and more people doing that. Trialing them and going, yep, it's a great shoe. It's definitely the shoe I'm going to be taking to Gramps now, based on your feedback, because it's more cushioning than the Jackal Boas, which I know will be great for technical, but I think 60 Ks of hard surfaces, harder than road, then I think I'll really enjoy the cushioning that I'll get out of the Prodigios.
Yeah, for sure. And the whole event, I mean, I think it's one of those events that you really want to get behind. Like, it's one of those real grassroots events. The whole community comes out. It's run on Guy's farm.
Yeah, Ian Hazelton.
Yeah,
and fantastic bloke, and
really nice bloke, and there's just a lot, like, just that real grassroots, like, there's not big fanfare, but it's just a lot of fun and a good vibe, and they do a really good job of the whole thing, and I imagine goes to quite a bit of expense to put it on, but they do a great job.
Yeah, and given that, as Scott said in our last podcast, it's a not-for-profit. You can see that the money that they're getting from entries and whatever support they're getting from sponsors, it's going back into the event.
Oh, definitely.
Some aspects of the race and the race weekend are just fantastic. Besides volunteers, and they've got a terrific group of volunteers out there. Oodles of volunteers, which is great. But the different things that they had that you just don't see at other races that made it really special. Besides, and we listed them in the last podcast, just how many events they have. There were some really cool things that happened this time. How many races did you go to where there's a helicopter joyrides?
Yeah. That's right.
And just constantly taking off and arriving. I mean, normally a helicopter arriving means something bad has happened. In this case, it was smiling faces getting out of each time. Ian's farm is a hobby farm. It was lambing season. Yeah. So it sort of turned into an impromptu petting zoo for the kids.
Bruce the Lamb or something, wasn't it?
There was one was going around.
Kid was carrying around Bruce the Lamb.
It was just really special. one of the things with the 100-miler race, so they had one of the young guys, locals, handcrafted all of the finishers' rings. So that tie in with the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and the Lonely Mountain, they all got individually handcrafted rings for finishing.
Yeah,
which is that's really special. It sort of reminded me a bit of Tarawera Miler, where you get the Punamu, and you go and choose yours, and that's what they were saying with the ring. You don't choose it; it chooses you. So you turn up and you go, right, pick one.
Yeah.
And I believe they had inscriptions on them.
Yeah,
as well.
they did. I got a photo of them that show people later on. There was also some cool stuff that happened where, like the miler guys who've been running since midnight were coming into the transition area, and like all the 50Kers were lined up. Ready to start.
And they just parted.
And so so they almost like had this reception of like all the 50Kers clapping these milers guys coming in as they just run all through the night coming into the transition area. So that was really cool how that's got timed up. And would have felt great running through there with all that sort of,
especially after the night they'd had.
Yeah.
So the milers started at midnight. In sort of a township that was 55 kilometres away. So all they could see is the red light at the top of Mount Canobolas, and they knew that's where they were heading. There were 12 people started, so they had 14 entries, but 12 actually started. More than half were women, and then in terms of finishes,
there
were only 6 finishes. It was tough. So that first it poured rain all night. So they were starting at midnight in the rain, and then having to run the first 55 Ks. I reckon that they probably would have covered 30 to 40 Ks in rain.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that was how they were starting. Like when you're doing a long race, like an ultra, and you might have to finish in the rain for the last couple of hours, you go, yeah, that's all right.
Kind of
but when you're starting the next 24 to 36 hours with 5 or 6 hours of rain, it's just like, I'm sure that
would have definitely felt great in the morning when it took a while for the clouds to lift, but certainly as the light came through, and then rays of light started to come through in the morning, and the clouds did sort of part throughout the day, would have felt really good to see that daylight. I would have.
Yeah, one thing that I noted that if they'd come and spoken to me or any of us about getting their gear, would have sorted them out. There were a number of the 100-mile runners mentioned that they had to turn off their headlamps because with the rain and the mist, they couldn't see. It was all reflecting back in their faces. So they ended up turning off their headlamps to run in the dark. If they had our Phoenix HM65 RTs, that has the yellow light and the blue light, it's got that yellow light to cut through the fog and cut through rain. They would have been able to just keep going. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Just switch over from the cool blue to the warm yellow and happy days.
And another tip that I've done when I'm running that sort of condition is you take the head torch off and actually hold it down close to your feet so you can actually see the ground.
Yeah.
And it's not reflecting so much in your eyes. So I think that makes a big difference as well.
Yeah. I remember
that yellow light definitely is better than the bright white light shining back in your eyes.
Yeah. Well, that's why so many people love them for up here. Like upper mountains from Mount Vic sort of down to pretty much Lawson. You get some real pea super fogs of an evening through winter, and
it's really become the head torch of like every race I see around the world now is like everyone's sporting it. So it's it's great price point. It's got super bright. I mean, if you ask me, like you can't have enough lumens when running at night, and it runs all night. So great head torch.
I remember coming up Perry's and my head torch died, but my housemate, he'd finished his session, so I actually hadn't used the Phoenix before then, and I whacked it on, and I had I was running on Hat Hill Road, and it's just like, I feel like the thickest fog I've ever seen in my life is always on that road. When I'm driving out, and I can't even see the reflectors or anything, but this time I was running in it, and I did flick it over to the yellow, and it was like this magic cheat code. I was like, "What?
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how much more you can see." So, yeah, I'm not surprised. It's such good value, and like that is such a handy thing up here. The amount of runs I do, and I've got a different head torch that doesn't have the yellow light, and some nights I'll like on the cliff top after work or something at night time. I'm just in this bubble of white for so long, and you just like can't tell where you are.
I mean, I've even used it down at around Blue Gum Swamp and Shaw's Ridge, early morning, like a 5:30 run in winter, and when it's dark, so you need a headlamp, and it's raining, and so just switch it over so I can keep seeing. So
Yeah, nice.
see the trip hazards. Yeah. Anyway, on the 100 miler, as I said, there were 12 people started it. Only 6 finished. It just shows how grueling that event was.
Yep.
Bern Ward finished it first in 25:05, so which is a really good time given the vert on that. And then the next 3 finishers were all female. So Jodie Bailey, Rebecca Dennis, and Beth Campbell came in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Then we had Keith Passmore came in 5th, and then Mel Brown rounded it up in 6th. So more women finishing than men. It's not the first race that's ever happened, but and it seems to be more on the really long ultras. So
yeah. Well, that's and interesting. Keith, I think it was Keith that came through that 55k aid station, like transition point. I think he was in first place at that point.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, I think that was Keith, and he looked okay at that point, but clearly, I mean, these long runs, they can get you.
Yeah, there's a lot of running still to be done after that.
55Ks is only the start of the race, really. So,
that's for sure.
Definitely a tough race, and congratulations to everyone that finished. It's a big effort.
As we said, when we spoke to and interviewed Scott in the last podcast, congratulations to the Lonely Mountain Committee. With such small numbers and so much effort to stay out, have volunteers that were out there, the hopping on the bus, I think around 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Out at Lidster, and then to drive to the race start, and then obviously to have the hub going for the finishes, which is after all the other events are finished. So it's a commitment, that they know before they put it on, before they advertise it, to say we've got to commit to this, and support it. So they did. And so I think next year there'll be a lot more people who do that event. There'll be a lot more heading out given for the 100k or 104k it is, but it's because that's the Australian champs next year. But I think that miler will attract a lot more people just because it's such a great venue, such a great vibe. Orange is a pretty nice place to go out and spend a couple of days. So. For the support crews, there's a lot there for them. It's not, a horrible place where you're just sort of jumping in the car and having to drive and just being stressed out all the time as a support crew.
Unreal. So you got some videos?
Yeah. So we do have we in between our working in the pop-up store, we did manage to get some videos. So we've got I thought I got enough video that could create a couple of interesting stories from the Lonely Mountain Ultra. So the first one that I wanted to share with you guys was the 11k, and we've got plenty of footage of that. So here's a short story on the 11k at the Lonely Mountain.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Get it for the 11k Lonely Mountain Ultra. Let's see a giveaway to the camera. And let's take it. Black Flat Creek awaits. Mitchell's Way awaits. And finishing shoot awaits. And an ice cold Lonely Mountain Ultra finishes beer. Woo-hoo-hoo! Let's go!
So one of the things they do really well at the Lonely Mountain Ultra is they have this massive high-definition flat-screen TV, and they send the drones up to go searching for the lead runners and get footage of the runners coming in to the race hub. And here we have Elijah Gosby You can see the considerable lead he has in the 11K. I think he's doing sub 3-minute kilometres as he runs down this hill. But fantastic footage, and it really creates a great vibe as you see these athletes running into the race hub. So here's Elijah finishing the race. He's right on record pace and streaming to the finish line.
Cosby! Yes! Well done, buddy. That is fast. Brilliant. Suck him in, we'll get a few words in a minute. Wow, that is quick. We'll get the time in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, he passed the spotter in 45.34, which means in a moment I can let you know if we have an official course record or not, but in his seconds in it. Suck him in, brother. Wow. If you don't mind. 45 minutes for that, Farmer Ian. You know that trail. Oh my goodness.
So it wasn't completely clear at first whether Elijah had broken the record, and it did create quite a bit of suspense as we waited to find out the results of the race.
Thank you.
Elijah Gosby, you have beaten your own time. Get out here, mate. You've beaten your own time by 5 minutes. You've gone within 9 seconds of the course record. Cracking run, nearly got it. Within 9 seconds.
Well done.
Well done. First place, Elijah. How'd you feel out there, mate?
Oh, the hill's definitely hard. It's heaps of fun running back down here though. I think I was hitting 250s the way down, so it was just flying.
You were hitting 2-minute 50K?
On the way back, yeah, on the way up. But yeah, it's a great race.
Mate, watching you on that big screen, I suddenly realised what you're supposed to look like when you run, and you've got it. Congratulations, winner, 11K Lonely Mountain Ultra. Good on you, mate. Go get a drink, have something to eat. Well done, Elijah. There's daylight, hey?
Next to finish was another young gun, Fergus Jackson. As you can see here, he's been picked up by the drone, been streamed onto the big screen, and we watched him come into the race hub.
Great running from Fergus. Lonely Mountain Ultra, Fergus Jackson. He's across the line in a 51.8. Well done, Fergus. Well done, buddy. Wow, suck him in. A high five coming from Elijah. Good to see, boys. Love that.
And third to come in was Charlie Gibson.
Go Charlie Gibson! Third place, get that done at the Lonely Mountain Ultra 11.
First place female was Claudia Gray in an overall time of 1 hour, 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Nice! 11K, well done, Claudia. She's had a great day out. Well done, Claudia Gray. What a great day. Noah Tadman's coming across. Noah Chapman and then Angus behind Noah. Well done, Claude. Take a breath and we'll have a few words with you. Fantastic run.
That's second female.
Second female was Sian Monkley in 1 hour and 6 minutes, followed by Jane Davey 2 minutes after that. The great thing about these sort of events is there's so many stories within the big story. And here we have Tony Williams, the owner of Blue Mountains Fitness, a trail running legend in the Blue Mountains. He puts on multiple events such as Glowworm Tunnel, Rigid Edge, and here he is. He chased down these two other people. All three of them came across the line within about 15 seconds of each other. He came in 6th overall in a total time of pretty much an hour flat. Super impressive. Tony Williams at 59 years of age, thank you very much. Let's have a listen to what Tony had to say about the event.
Awesome, Tony. That's fast, man.
Well done,
That's fast.
Yeah. 1 hour, sorry.
Yeah.
1 or 2.
Great running from Matt.
Wow. And when did you get away from the other guys?
101.
We saw it all together.
She's gone
Yeah.
on 10, probably
Yeah.
about a 102 dead, Claudia. That's a super fast time. 102.
They took off.
Dead.
Yeah.
Well done. We got Nicholas Howell across the line. Well done, Nico.
I got him by
Good
the
run
end,
from Nick.
and I got in behind on the first 200 metres.
Now they're all starting to come see the
downhill.
the downhill.
60 minutes. These are
Yeah,
still
it's just
serious
going.
times.
Yeah.
60 minutes.
Yeah, I dragged the jelly at the
Serious
corner,
time.
and they were only 50 metres behind.
Some of
No.
our best committee members
So there's a bit of a preview of what happened at the Lonely Mountain Ultra 2024 11K event. It was fast and furious. There was plenty of atmosphere and some great racing. It was all around a fantastic event. Ultra. Sweet. Next part of the podcast.
So we're talking about that. Yes, a great result by Elijah. I'm really encouraged. So, besides the fact, well, two things with that, and it was the same last year. It's all under 18s.
It's the young guns.
Were the podium.
Yeah.
It was the same case last year. I'm really encouraged that we had Elijah first, Fergus was second, Charlie was from Orange, the Orange Run Club. But I can see that there's a real wave, of young runners. Got Joey Williams who ran the 4th. I think in the next couple of years, he won't be in the shorter. He'll probably be doing the 11K and performing well. And it sort of reminds me of a number of years ago in the Blue Mountains, we had James Perrott and Ed and Earl O'Brien. It was sort of like we had this cluster of people that was, it was like iron sharpening iron and just making it, like a bringing, they're all pushing each other to go along, and we've probably, if you get with some of the older Blue Mountains runners, they've been doing it for, 30, 40 years now. They can probably all rattle off every decade. There's this cluster of Blue Mountains runners, young guys that are and girls that are coming through, and just lift everyone, and then you have this amazing group of guys, So I can see that. Definitely with people like Elijah, Fergus, Joey, that we're going to have these gun runners, hitting the early 20s and going to be, putting in
representing.
Absolutely representing, yeah.
And I was really glad to see Fergus do well because his dad had come up to me and told me that they loved our podcast and they'd listened to it on the way into the Lonely Mountain preview on the way to Orange, and apparently that was the reason he ran so well.
Wow.
Awesome.
Did it throw him off? Maybe his mental game must be good if he still went well after listening to the
it was all the insights and
all the insights from Scott, obviously.
Clearly, the great words from Scott that sort of got him all the way to the podium.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In some of the other results, again, it's the women pushing the men in the 50K. We had Fan Zhang came second overall. Ben Calbra, I think that's how you pronounce it, 4:57 for a 50K. All on dirt, a lot of single track, a lot of elevation in that 50K as well. Like that's a cracking time, 4:57. We had Darryl Johnson came in third overall, and second male. Kieran Van Bunnik was rounded out the podium for the men, and then we had Carissa Hickey and Pia O'Connor on the podium for the women there in the 50K.
And the 32?
32, again, cracking time. Tom Pogson, 2:53.11 to win that.
Yeah, right.
And that 32, that's that out of the people doing the 100 mile and the 100K, and Scott mentioned it at last pod that that Wombat section is really gnarly and plays with people's minds a bit, and or breaks their hearts a little. So to do 32K in under 3 hours with that vert, again, it's some sharp times, We had Ramiro Lopez Pena came in second and Bryce Morley third in the men, and we had Ayako Kasui was first female. Orly Lavie in second, and Nicola Bloor was third. So well done to all of them.
So the last bit of footage that we got was of our local mate Will Corlett. So for people that don't know Will, he earlier this year he did the King of the Mountain challenge, which was 500 kilometers around the Blue Mountains. So he connected up 500 kilometers of trails. I think there's like somewhere between 22 to 30,000 meters of elevation
Yeah,
in that
he was
500
aiming for over
kilometers.
22,000.
And he did that whole challenge in 7 days. He knocked that over. Anyway, so here's a bit of Will on doing his 104K at the Langley Mountain Ultra.
3, 2, 1, go! 104 kilometres away. Go well! 4,000 vertical metres. 3 times up and over. You are legends. Enjoy the day. Get it done.
Is this Will? How you going, Will? Hold on. Sure enough, after about 50 Ks, Will came in first place with some stories about some extra kilometres that he'd done. How you feeling?
Has just come through.
Good. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
I've run 5Ks more than I'm supposed to so far.
Don't do that.
You might know Will because he went and did a crazy thing earlier this year where he ran.
You look good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. I'm keen to finish it.
Get it done.
So yeah.
Backing it up here and yards in.
Did you just take a wrong turn?
This afternoon.
So
He's on the
someone
104.
at an aid
He's on his-
station directed me and the guy who was in the relay in front of me the wrong way. He
Yeah.
went further than I did and he caught me.
Being flanked
So I
by
went about
some
a couple k's that way. And then here I forgot my phone, ran all the way across that road a bit more, and then had to run back and get my
Thought we
phone.
lost you, Will, but we found you. Thumbs up.
The next time we saw Will, he'd done another 30K loop and was 80 Ks into the race. He seemed initially a lot more subdued, a little bit more worn out, but it wasn't long before he fired back up and got ready for that last lap. 22, 23 Ks to go.
Run with music, Willie.
Oh, we're on, mate. What's the tune?
We're on, baby! Woo! Let's move! In there, Jetta!
Will went storming out of the race hub with a real spring in his step, looking way too fresh for someone who had already done 80 Ks of the race. 2 hours and 45 minutes later, in a total time of 12 hours and 27 minutes, Will crossed the finish line in first place.
William Carolan from the Blue Mountains. Here he is, folks. Your first place runner with his pacer there coming across the line. Well done. I'll get a few words with him in a second.
As Will would later say, this was the first race he'd won since Year 6 primary school.
In the LMU 100.
Second place Matt Brown had been closing in on the last loop and pushing Will all the way, but Will had managed to hold him off and score the win. First female was Mandy Smith, doing it in a total time of 15 hours and... Alright, cool. Nice.
Alright, so other than that, we're going to talk about the
Long run.
long runs the next 2 weeks.
How long? Oh, that's 44 minutes. Doing alright. By the time we had some... It's going to be quite long.
Yeah. Long run.
That's all right.
Long podcast, long run. So
Yeah,
We don't need to shy away from that.
No.
Because our number of people said, it's a bit short.
yeah.
Oh, have you?
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
I reckon the hour is ideal for a run.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah. Don't want to... Actually, I had someone complaining and saying, I hate it when I've still got like 10 to 15 minutes to go. And do I listen to silence or do I pull out my phone
Yeah.
to put
Reload another one.
Reload another one? I
Bit
mean,
of silence can't hurt you.
Yeah. You got to think.
other than the heavy breathing by that stage.
I don't listen to anything when I run. I never have.
Neither.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
Right, well, we're not going to put that out.
No.
We want people to listen to
We can
podcasts.
We can filter that.
Yeah.
Actually, Liv called me today and she said, I've been listening to your podcast on the way into uni. I was like, oh, cool. What do you think? She goes, surprisingly, I'm actually enjoying it.
Oh, like it's like you're not allowed to?
Yeah.
No, I enjoy it, damn it.
That's
not
so
too many
annoying.
dad jokes.
Yeah, that's so annoying. I enjoy it.
That's good feedback.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. So
Long
let's,
run. Yeah.
talk to us about long run plans.
The date this weekend, Sunday will be, is it the 13th?
Yes.
Yeah, but this won't go out until the 16th.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is
So we're
correct.
saying this Sunday, the 20th
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
of October.
Is that the Darling Causeway one?
No.
No.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
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 Get
I was
it right.
like, I think it is.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So we're just going to ignore
So
St.
this-
Cinders.
No, because we'll just cover that
Next
next,
week.
next
Debrief
week.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yep. No worries.
Alrighty. Well,
So,
do you want to go? Because
no. I was just going to say. So, Mike, tell us about this week's Sunday
let's
long
do
run.
that.
Yeah. So, Mike, tell us about this week's Sunday long run.
Yep. So this week is a little bit different. Tony Williams from Blue Mountains Fitness has actually kindly allowed us to go and run the 10K loop, 5K and 10K loop.
Both. Yeah.
both.
So make it the long run. Yeah. So we can do both the 10K and the 5K. Yeah.
Epic. So that's out on the Darling Causeway, just past Mount Victoria.
Yep.
So that'll be starting at 7 a.m.
So
7
this
a.m.
is-
start. Yeah.
So it's the Blue Goat.
It is,
course?
the Blue Goat course. So anyone who's thinking of heading out and entering and then heading out and doing it, because that's the first week in December is his races, and there's a number of distances, both on the Saturday and the Sunday, with the last one starting at midday on the Saturday and going through to
Whenever.
Sunday,
Jeez.
late
Yeah.
Sunday, hopefully. But yeah, there's two different courses. So depending on the event you're doing, whether you're on the 5 or the 10 or both, just for the different distances. So yeah, it'd be really good. So anyone who's heading to Gramps,
Be good training for that.
for GPT, should head out to the Blue Goat course. But if you're on the fence about entering any of the distances at Blue Goat, then feel free to come out on Sunday, join us,
Yeah.
and we'll do both.
Yeah.
The 10K and the 5K.
Okay. Good single track course. Nice and technical.
Yep. No fire trail.
Yeah.
No the road is like 3 steps.
Yeah,
you
that's it.
cross his driveway.
Cross his driveway and then off you
that's
go
it.
again.
And all the rest of it's single track, but just some amazing pagodas. Run through past where the goats hang out.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful. It's so cool what he's created there. I remember never even knowing what to expect when going and shooting photos there last year, and there's spots you could stand up on top of the rocks and watch people go underneath you through tunnels of rock and everything. It's just it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful and
It feels different to what we've got here. So it's like a pretty unique experience. Like even though we're here in Katoomba, you go out there and you're like, oh, this is feels like a complete different trail.
Yeah, I when I first started running it, there was section, especially with those pagodas of rock. It's like I've never run past anything like this anywhere in Jamison, Megalong, or down the lower mountains. There's nothing like that, And yes, really, really gnarly. So
So it is in. It's for those that don't know. It's in Mount Vic. All the details will be of. We put the Google pin of where the start is on the Summit Gear website, and the GPX. Oh, I don't know if we'll have a GPX for this one. Maybe we will. I don't know.
Oh, probably not, because it's all a marked course and it's a loop. So both of them are loops. So there won't really be. Although Tony's probably got one on the Blue Goat website.
Yeah, we might see if I can get it off him.
It'll either be under AAA Racing, who are the race directors for it. It's Tony and AAA Racing partner on that one. But yeah, if you go on, just put in Blue Goat Backyard Ultra, then you'll see all of that, and I'm sure you may well have that. We've also got Cliff Nutrition have come to the party.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They're supporting us with this one, so we'll have some Cliff products for people to try out.
People to sample.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll have some. They've
Have
got
a feast.
some bars and chews and things. So that's really cool that they've got behind us for this one. So come and sample some stuff, test it out while you're out running or in the car afterwards.
So we will put all the details on the website, so please go check that. We'd love you to come, so don't be afraid. Come join us. We're nice people, and we'll have some good running out at the Blue Goat.
So that's this Sunday the 20th, and then we've got The following week, the 27th, Sunday the 27th, we're doing Nellie's Glen Devil's Hole Loop.
Yeah.
So where are we meeting for that one?
Cliff Drive.
Yeah.
We're at the top of the Devil's Hole trailhead.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sounds
there's
perfect.
plenty of spots to park there, and if there's an amazing amount of people there and there's full at the Devil's Hole, if you just drive up another 50 or 100 meters, there's plenty of spots on
Cars Lookout.
Yeah, there's heaps of spots there you can
Yeah.
park your car, and we'll be running it in the direction where we will go out on Narranac Road towards Farnells first. Yep, and then loop around on that single track. It's a pretty cool single track, actually. It's kind of just pops out of suburbia.
That's that single track that does my head in UTA every year. It's like you finally get up Nellie's and you hit the single track and you're still going up and down bloody stairs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not fast.
It's not fast and it's hard. And I'm never.
It's not steep. It's just
No.
what we call undulating.
It's never, and I'm never
Not flowy.
Yeah, not flowy. It's very good. So I'm never feeling great at that point of the race. So,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to hit that early when I'm feeling fresh.
Yeah, so those people that have done the 100K at UTA, they'll be familiar with that section, although we'll be doing it in the opposite
In the
direction of
reverse.
what you normally would,
Oh.
and then getting out to Explorer's Tree, dropping down Nellie's.
I'll give you the hot tip.
Yeah.
I ran it today when I was fresh, and it still didn't feel great.
Oh, great. Well, I was just telling you that I can't. I can't do stairs at the moment. So anyway, we'll do the best we can.
Yeah. So we'll likely regroup a couple times in that run.
Yeah, we will regroup a few times. So I was going to point that out. So with both this weekend, this Sunday, and the following Sunday, really they would be open to certainly at Blue Goat on the Blue Goat course, open to all paces and fitness levels, because they're just loops. It doesn't really matter how long you take to do the 5K or the 10K. We're at Tony's house, so you're all good. Don't have to be put off that I'm not as fast as other people. With the Devil's Hole, Nellie's Glen run, again, I'll be sweeping that one. So we've talked about how slow I'm going at the moment. So and we'll regroup a few times. So while it's not for an absolute beginner, what do we think it's going to be, about 15, 16 Ks loop all up?
Yeah, well, it depends on the exact GPX we end up going. But
it might tack a little bit of an out and back on 6 foot track.
Yeah, I think
just
that'd
to sort of stretch out a bit more.
Be nice. That would mix up the technical stuff a bit. I would say for anyone who hasn't run it before, the stairs down Nellie's are quite large. So running them can feel a little bit disjointed. So it might be, I think going down Nellie's is quite technical and rocky. But then it does get onto quite a smooth fire trail. So there's like a bit of yin and yang in this one, where it's like really technical and quite tricky to run, but you could walk
There's
down.
a dirt road.
Yeah, and then it goes dirt road.
Down Nellie's Glen Road, and then...
This one is also, I think, even... I've done Devil's Hole so many times going up, and it's just a good one to have on a GPX, because if you're not keeping an eye out for like rock cans or anything like that, there's actually like the first chute you go up, you can think that's Devil's Hole, but you actually got to skirt around to the right, and it gets me every now and then. So it's a good one to have on your map, because your watch will beep at you, or just make sure that if you do scoot off ahead, or you're not around anyone that's got a map or anything, that you
I think for everyone's comfort, we'll probably regroup at the base of that, and then go up as clusters, different pace.
Yeah, I think that would be
clusters,
good.
and just stay together in smaller groups.
It's a beautiful section. It's a beautiful climb. It's
one of the cool spots.
Fantastic. So that'll be a great run as well. So that planned up. Just something a little bit different that we haven't done in a while. Haven't done ever, actually. Fifth episode. Just wanted to ask you, is there any bit of gear that you've been using lately that kind of has hit your mind as something that you kind of like, something that you've been enjoying? Yeah,
there's actually been quite a few little things that I've tried out lately that I've enjoyed. One of them I was talking to you in the shop about was I really enjoy the Scratch electrolytes, which don't have any carbs or energy in them. So
Yeah.
just as something at home, or when you're doing an easy run and you want electrolytes, but you're not going long enough that you don't need to fuel, like a really easy recovery run, and then just take some electrolytes. That stuff tastes amazing. The ingredients are good. I think it's good value. I really raved about that. I thought that was awesome. I recently switched shoes. And so I went from basically, I was running in something with a pretty solid stack height for a while, and then I've swapped over to the Genesis by Salomon, and it's probably been a few years since I've run in a Salomon, and I initially went a little bit too small, so traditionally I'd wear like a 9.5 or a 9, but being a little bit more narrow, and I feel like they're a bit more snug fitting, the upper really has a good lock down on your foot. I ended up going a 10, and so fits me great, and I just find it's one of those shoes that I loved my old shoe, and then now I've been a little bit mind blown because I feel a lot more confident on technical terrain again. And I think it's a combination of that shoe. It makes you feel like your foot's not going to move anywhere when you're running on technical terrain. Like I feel like my foot doesn't slop around, but I also have space for my toes. But then also, I think just one of the cool parts about it is that I can actually get a bit more information of where my foot is. So I've always been a cushion guy, like cushion. And there's plenty of cushion in the back of the shoe, but I feel like in the forefoot, I can actually have a lot of information of where my foot is. And I think my running form as a result has been a bit better. Like I just...
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Like, because I think previous to that, I've always been someone, and then even swapping back to my old shoe, I've felt pretty disconnected. So
I think it's the shoe. Isn't Lucy Bartholomew running in the Genesis as well?
Yeah. Lots and lots of people are using that shoe to, like Lucy, and it's what Courtney DeWalter will run her milers in. Yeah. And I feel like I raced Hounslow in that shoe, and just it feels great on the road, but it also feels like going down Lockleys and stuff. The grip on it is still awesome. So I've even today. Yeah, there you go. So even today I ran from home, and I mean, my pair I've done a lot of kilometers in, so I'm a little bit less pedantic about ruining the grip. Yeah, it's like it's my daughter trail shoe now, because I've worn out the lugs, but I've probably done maybe 900 or 1,000 Ks in them.
And it has actually a very tough upper, so it's not going to wear away too quick.
Yeah, so this Matrix upper is it is awesome because mine looks exactly like this still. And I've legitimately run, probably 900 or 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So I rate it.
Because that is something that that's a new add-on to this shoe, like to change that, to make it tougher, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, like for example, the shoes I've got on now, just walking around in, is like the Sense Rides, and that upper's like a fabric, and that was my first ever trail running shoe, and I loved that it was comfy and things, but like I had times where a stick would poke in and just rip my shoe apart or something like that. But I think for the Blueies, you can get away with running pretty much most trails in that shoe. So
it's very light too.
It is a light shoe. So if you don't have a mega wide foot, then it's worth a try. 8 mil drop. Okay.
Yeah.
Rob, any gear that you've... Well, you
Yeah.
You talked about the head torch.
I talked about the head torch, and I've been using that in the mornings. And
how's the moon boot as a training aid?
It's funny actually because I wrecked it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Out of anger?
No. I peeled the bottom off it. So
right.
Because I said to her, "Oh, we'll put it in the cupboard," and she goes, "No, I'm going to put it in the bin."
Yeah.
Really, it's a good quality boot. Like, I'm sure one of us will injure ourselves again. And she goes, "No, look at this," and it's like the back and the front were all flat. Yeah, talking to me.
Well, there's just talking gear. There's two things that I've kind of discovered in the last 2 weeks that the first one was real surprised. You put some scratch recovery drink on my desk a little while ago, and it's been up there forever. And I never drink recovery drinks. I've just never done it. So I took one home and I thought I'll try it and see what it's like. And actually, it's actually really yum, and it's actually quite nice to drink after a fairly hard session. So
what flavour was it?
It's the chocolate one. Yeah, it's good. It's actually really good. I really enjoy it, and kind of feels like it just gives you something back after you've done a pretty hard session.
Did you have
So-
it with water or milk?
Just water. So you just a couple of scoops into a Nalgene bottle, shake the crap out of it, drink it. Tastes like it's actually quite a nice drink, and it's and it actually feels quite good going in. So so that was a surprise. I've almost been converted to having recovery drinks now.
I love them.
And
I always use it.
the other one was it was a bit of a surprise. We've had the Anonji poles.
Oh yeah.
They're quite aluminium. They're not very expensive. So definitely for beginners, they're a great pole to start off with. If you want a light pole, a fixed pole, they're fantastic. Anyway, they in the last shipment they sent some new poles that actually are carbon alloy pole, and they're adjustable, but they're still very light, and they're actually incredibly well priced. So I think that's something that people, if they're thinking about getting some poles and don't want to spend too much money, it's a really good option for them. It's a great little pole, light carbon alloy, and it is adjustable to the height that you like.
Another one to our fleet of poles.
Yeah, that's right.
Z-fold poles. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool.
We're getting quite a collection of them over there. So yeah, very good.
I was going to make a joke, but it wasn't going to be good.
What was it?
I was going to say, if you want to be overwhelmed by pole selection, come on in.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why would you say that? It's been a long day.
I think
You could have run with that.
Yeah, no,
I'll leave it.
Don't hop back. We can
leave
edit.
that in.
I'll leave it in now.
Yeah. Maybe on that note, I think that's maybe that's episode 5 done. Well done, guys. I wasn't sure we're gonna get episode 5, but yeah, good job.
Yeah,
Right.
perhaps our most dense episode yet. Lots in terms of information. Like, I'm not saying it's like not hard to consume. Wow. Good night.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Maybe on that note, we'll wrap it up. But yeah, thanks everyone, and if you like it, tell people about it, share it, subscribe. Yeah, give us the encouragement to keep going.
We'll see you next time for sure.